everyone, take a moment and look at this view. Absolutely incredible, right? It's one of those landscapes that just stops you in your tracks and makes you feel like you're standing in a painting. Today, we're lacing up our hiking boots and hitting the Rim Vista Trail, one of northern New Mexico's most scenic trails. The Rim Vista Trail is tucked away near Abiquiú, a tiny town with a big cultural legacy. If that name sounds familiar, it's probably because this area was once home to the iconic American artist Georgia O'Keeffe. She spent decades painting these very landscapes, those dramatic red cliffs, sprawling mesas, and ever-changing skies. And when you're out here on the trail, it's easy to see why she fell in love with it. This trail is part of the Carson National Forest and sits in the heart of the Four Corners region, where New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, and Colorado all meet. That alone makes it pretty special, but the real magic is in the views. The Rim Vista Trail winds along the edge of a high plateau, offering breathtaking panoramas of the Chama River Valley below. From various lookout points, you can spot layers of red rock formations, dense forests, and in the distance, and on a clear day, even glimpses of the snow-capped Sangre de Cristo Mountains. Let me show you exactly where the trail is so you can plan your own hike. So the Rim Vista Trail, it's pretty well known. It's even marked on Google Earth and most major hiking apps, which makes it super easy to find and navigate. It's about an hour north of Santa Fe. Whether you use AllTrails, Gaia GPS, or just good old Google Maps, you'll see the trail winding its way along the edge of the mesa with waypoints and photos uploaded by fellow hikers. This AllTrails preview shows you the approximately 5.9 mile route. You'll start at the base of the mesa and hike all the way to the top for spectacular views. You can see the elevation and mileage there up in the right-hand corner that shows you how far you've gone as you progress on the trail. This is an out and back trail, so once you're at the top, to return home, you just go back down the same way you came up. Alright, so we're hitting the trail. Once you park, you'll start the hike up this dirt road. There's a trail sign here that shows you you're on the right path. Continue up this road for a bit. You'll soon come to the Rim Vista Trail sign that shows it's 2.3 miles to the top of the mesa. From here, the trail becomes a single track and is generally easy to follow. In terms of difficulty, the Rim Vista Trail is generally rated as moderate to moderately challenging. I'd say that's pretty accurate. As you make your way up, you can expect an elevation gain of around 1,300 feet. That might sound like a bit of a climb, and it is definitely a good workout, but the views at the top are absolutely worth every step. Speaking of the top, the trail ends at about 8,000 feet on the top of the mesa. The trail starts off with a nice gradual incline, making it pretty easy to get into a rhythm. However, as we continue, it definitely gets steeper as you go, and there's a noticeable 300 feet climb near the mesa's summit that will really get your heart pumping. There are several perfect spots for photos, and the views keep getting better the further up the trail you go. The terrain here is a pretty interesting mix. We've got sections of dirt paths, but be prepared for some rocky sections as well. That's why good hiking shoes or boots are recommended. And the terrain around the trail is part of the Chama Basin, where millions of years of sediment have stacked up in vibrant layers. You'll see multicolored cliffs with reds, whites, yellows, and purples. The multicolored layers in the rock formations represent different geological time periods, with the red coming from iron oxide, white from gypsum, and purple from manganese. You'll notice as we go that the trail offers a nice balance. We'll have both shaded areas where you can catch a breather and plenty of open viewpoints that just beg for you to stop and take in the scenery. However, it's worth noting that there really isn't much consistent shade on the trail, so be prepared for a lot of sun exposure. Keep an eye on the plants around us. The vegetation changes as we gain elevation. The trail starts in mainly sagebrush and juniper, which is pretty typical for this region, but after a mile or so, it transitions into a pinon woodland. At the higher elevations, you might even spot some ponderosa pine trees. We saw some elk along the trail, but they were camera shy and took off. You might also see some lizards and rabbits scurrying around. Generally, spring, summer, or fall are the best times to hike, with each season offering its unique perspective on the landscape. However, because of the lack of shade, cooler parts of these seasons are often ideal. When we hiked it, the trail was completely dry in March, with a few spots of snow in the shade, so you might find similar conditions in the spring. As you hike up, you'll be looking down on the Chama River Valley. The Chama River is a major tributary of the Rio Grande, flowing approximately 120 miles through northern New Mexico before joining the larger river in Espanola. And the Chama Valley has been inhabited for thousands of years, with evidence of ancestral Puebloan settlements dating back to at least 1200 CE. The region has been home to Puebloan peoples for centuries and was later influenced by Spanish colonists. You'll find petroglyphs, ancient dwellings, and adobe churches scattered throughout the valley. In 1988, Congress designated a 25-mile stretch of the Chama River as wild and scenic, providing special environmental protections to preserve its natural character. And the valley's ecosystem supports diverse wildlife, including elk, mule deer, black bears, mountain lions, bald eagles, and a variety of fish species, including rainbow and brown trout. This entire area, including what is now the Rim Vista Trail, is famous for dinosaur fossil discoveries. Nearby Ghost Ranch is where Coelophysis fossils were found in the 1940s, one of the richest dinosaur bone beds in North America. It's likely that the same ancient ecosystems extended across what is now this trail area. The Rim Vista Trail is quiet and uncrowded, especially compared to nearby Ghost Ranch trails. You might not see a single other hiker, making it perfect for solitude, photography, or just getting lost in thought. We only saw one other hiker on a Sunday in March. This is it, the final 300 feet of the Rim Vista Trail. This is the start of the last push to the rim. From here, you'll gain elevation quickly as the trail approaches the edge of the mesa. So we're scaling the edge of a mesa formed millions of years ago by volcanic activity and erosion. The footing can get a little tricky. Expect loose gravel, exposed sandstone slabs, and a few natural steps formed by erosion. Nothing technical, but you'll want to watch your footing. And in some spots, the video can make it look more challenging than it is. There aren't any steep drop-offs, so anyone with a fear of heights should be fine. The trail is wide enough to be comfortable. It is far more scenic than sketchy. As you climb, the views to the south start to open up dramatically. You'll see the Chama River far below, winding through cottonwood groves and red rock canyons. And the views really start to deliver. This is where your camera should come out. There's no shade in this final stretch, so if you're hiking in the warmer months, be ready for direct sun. So a fun little tidbit of info is that the Chama River Valley and surrounding Abiquiú and Ghost Ranch areas that you can see below have been popular filming locations for decades, thanks to their otherworldly landscapes, colorful cliffs, and wide open skies. If you do a search for Abiquiú on IMDb, it shows that 38 movies have had scenes filmed here, including Oppenheimer, 3:10 to Yuma, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, Silverado, The Magnificent Seven, City Slickers, Wyatt Earp, Red Dawn, Indiana Jones, The Lone Ranger, and more. Keep going, we're just about there. And here it is, the moment the trail is named for. We've made it to the top. From atop the mesa, you're rewarded with breathtaking panoramic views of the Rio Chama Valley, Abiquiú Lake, Ghost Ranch, and distant mountain ranges. If you go left at the top, there are some nice areas to sit and take in the views. If you turn right at the top, you'll get even better views. It's a great place to have lunch and take in the scenery. And here's a cool little tidbit. At the very top of the rim, the trail actually meets the Continental Divide Trail. And the CDT, if you don't know, is a 3,100-mile trail that stretches along the Rocky Mountains, going through New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, and Montana. You may meet some thru hikers here while you're taking in the view. If you want to make a night of it, there's a spectacular campsite right here on the edge of the mesa. Imagine waking up to that view. Just be sure you don't sleepwalk. There are also some nice dispersed camping spots near the trailhead, which I'll show you at the end of the video. This area in northern New Mexico has minimal light pollution, making it perfect for stargazing. On a clear night, the Milky Way stretches overhead like a painting. Now we're starting the return trip down. This part of the trail starts with a big rock and a switchback. When you see these two rocks on your way up, the trail switches back in the opposite direction. It's easy to be confused and make the climb up these rocks to the right, but that's not necessary. Turn left up the trail and you'll hike up a nice, easy switchback. Not far down, check out this rock formation on the right. It looks like a chimney or a small cave built into the cliff. It's a cool little landmark you might have missed on the way up. There's a second one further down as well. We're retracing our steps now, but the views feel fresh coming from the other direction. The view is completely different, and personally, I think it's better on the way down than on the way up, as you see more of the valley. This stretch gives you those wide views of the cliffs across the valley. Totally different vibe on the way down. Just keep going the same way you came up. It's mostly downhill, but there are rocky sections that it's easy to slip on, so be careful there. And make sure you leave enough time for the hike out. It gets really dark here at night. While you're making your way down the Rim Vista Trail, you can start thinking about your next hike. There are some other popular hikes in this area, including the White Place Plaza Blanca Trail, which takes you to striking white sandstone formations which were famously painted by Georgia O'Keeffe. It's located on private land owned by an Islamic center, which you can request a permit for free on their website. Ghost Ranch also has a variety of scenic hikes. Some of the favorites include the Chimney Rock Trail, Box Canyon Trail, and Kitchen Mesa Trail. There are also various short trails around Abiquiú Lake. Also, the Rio Chama Trail takes you to the Monastery of Christ in the Desert, which was founded in 1964 and is housed by Benedictine monks. It's open to the public to visit. Basically, there's a whole lot to see and do here in this part of northern New Mexico. This area that we're hiking in was once covered by a vast inland sea, which explains the different colored sedimentary layers you can see in the distance. The juniper and pinon trees you see here are perfectly adapted to this high desert environment, with root systems that can find water deep underground. And the pinon pine trees produce nuts that you can eat, and they're really delicious toasted. In the distance, you can see the mountain of Pedernal Peak. Georgia O'Keeffe once famously said, "It's my private mountain. God told me if I could paint it enough, I could have it." The mountain is composed of basalt that protected the softer rock beneath from erosion, which creates its distinctive flat-topped appearance. The vibrant red soil visible along this trail has been harvested by Puebloan potters for centuries to create their distinctive polished pottery. This region experiences some of the most dramatic monsoon thunderstorms in the southwest, which typically arrive in July and August, creating spectacular lightning displays over the mesas. But it's definitely not a time that you want to be hiking this trail. Now let's talk about getting here. There are 2 parking areas available. The first one is usually pretty obvious and easily accessible for any car. The second parking area is located a bit further up the road and may require a vehicle with higher clearance. Parking at this upper lot has the benefit of cutting about 0.8 miles off your total hike, which can be a nice option if you're looking for a slightly shorter trek. We parked there with a Subaru with no problems. The trailhead itself is located just off Forest Road 151. You'll see a marker indicating the start of the trail. And just a heads up that road conditions into the parking area can vary depending on the weather, so it's always a good idea to check recent conditions before you head out. If it has rained recently, it can be difficult to drive. One thing to keep in mind is that there is no restroom or outhouse at the trailhead, so make sure to plan accordingly before you arrive. Also, we had a cell signal the entire route, which can be helpful for navigation or in case of emergencies. And we're back at the Rim Vista Trail sign. Here you just take the rest of the hike out to the parking area. You really do get a different perspective when you're hiking out versus when you're hiking in, so you'll start to see different mountains that you may not have noticed before. If you're looking to disperse camp in the area, there are a lot of options in this immediate area and elsewhere in the Carson National Forest. There are also various established campgrounds in this area, including ones with hookups. There are some dispersed camping sites located right off of Highway 84 on the way to the trailhead. This map shows several of those locations, and some come with amazing views. check out this dispersed campsite right before you come into the Rim Vista Trail parking area. It's got a fantastic view. So there you have it, your guide to hiking the incredible Rim Vista Trail in Abiquiú, New Mexico. As you can see, the reward for this moderately challenging hike is absolutely stunning panoramic vistas that will stay with you long after you've left the trail. If you're looking for a hike that combines a good workout with truly unforgettable scenery, then the Rim Vista Trail should definitely be on your list. Thanks for watching.